Country music legend Merle Haggard dies at 79. Bakersfield, California. He was an Okie, but part of that big flood out there in the Dust Bowl. Country music legend and native Oklahoma Merle Haggard has passed away on his birthday. He was 79 years old. The singer-songwriter was one of the pioneers of the Bakersfield sound. Haggard was also involved in the outlaw country movement. Yeah, he got into country music when he heard Johnny Cash come sing at San Quentin. I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. In addition to his 40 #1 hits, Haggard has won just about every music award. Last month, Haggard hit Mama Tried was selected for presentation in the National Recording Registry. Haggard was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in '94. He is the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame. So Merle Haggard, dead at 79. And this just broke 5 minutes ago, literally. Great job of the crew grabbing that song so quickly. That's why Dr. Group is here with us. Dr. Group, former Army operative in his own right, and then, of course, holds many different medical degrees. You can find out more at Infowars.com in the bio section of our guest, or at globalhealingcenter.com. Dr. Group will be with us for the balance of the hour. Then David Knight takes over in the 4th hour. And I had a whole stack of news for why he was coming on the show today and what he was going to be discussing. Flu season peaking later than usual. That's the Idaho State Journal. Stanton community grieves after educator dies from complications from the flu, and it's killing people in the lungs. Flu season hits new highs, but massive vaccinations happening. People say, you need to take the shot so I don't get sick, but they're the people that have taken it that are dying so many times. I mean, if you're protected, then you're protected, I thought. Flu season hits new highs, and it's going so late. We have another article, others dying that are prominent. So it just expands. North Carolina reports 8 more deaths from influenza. We're going to be breaking this down, but Merle Haggard dead at 79. Certainly some sad news, but his great music will live on forever. The Hag is dead. Yeah, I guess I could try to call up Willie Nelson. I haven't hung out with him in a while, but he's friends, and maybe get his take on this. But what we really want to do is take this sad death and draw attention to more and more of these mystery illnesses that are out there. And the studies that admit when you take the regular flu shot, it doubles your chances of getting the flu the next year and lowers your immunity. But that's not something they tell people. They tell them just get the flu shot every year, even though they've had studies out for 20 years that 3 consecutive flu shots in a 3-year period doubles your chances of early onset of Alzheimer's. So we're going to discuss all of this with Dr. Edward Group, also one of the top formulators of products at InfoWarsLife.com. Doc, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
This really underlines or highlights what you were already coming in to talk about. 1 minute, 2 minutes before you're going on, the Hag is dead. Weldon comes running in here. Country music singer in his own right, pretty darn successful. And then it's on the same subject you were about to cover. That is weird.
It is weird. What's weird is what happened to me about 3 weeks ago. I was with my family on spring break in Utah, Park City, Deer Valley, where we go every year. And when I got there, I looked in the sky and I saw chemtrails everywhere. And my wife said to me, oh my gosh, look at all these chemtrails everywhere. And so we started walking around the town and everybody was coughing and hacking and has respiratory illnesses. And people were actually saying, I was asking a couple of people, I said, what's going on around here? And they said, well, they're calling it the Park City flu. And so I didn't think anything of it. And I ski for a couple days. And on day 3, I start feeling really bad. And I'm looking up. I'm like, great. Now my whole vacation's going to be ruined. I don't even get sick. I know that if I get sick, there's something seriously going on. And I can literally feel it in my body. And I know that when there's something man-made or there's something strange or some sort of biological weapon, that there's something else going on. So I'm knocked out in bed, can't even move. I'm drinking 3 bottles of silver a day. I'm taking 100 drops of oregano. I'm taking a bunch of iodine. And I'm barely getting by. My throat, my respiratory, everything's going on. So like on day 3, I can finally start getting to the computer. So I start looking and saying, there's something weird going on. I need to find out what it is. So I'm thinking it's spring break all over the country. It's going to be spring break for the next 3 weeks. That's the perfect time for them to spray. And you know, everybody leaves their hometown for spring break, right? So they're all going to the East Coast. They're all going to the West Coast. They're going to Arizona. They're going skiing in Colorado and Utah. So I started looking at the different chemtrail websites and trying to figure out what's going on. Sure enough, I came up with, you know, digging deep enough with Chemtrail Flu and realized that they heavily sprayed the East Coast, right along the border of Canada and the United States. So the whole north, they squared in the United States.
And by the way, they cover a lot of this with Geo Engineering. It's admitted they're doing it. There are UN treaties on it. They have proven they are retrofitting planes. They also add key compounds to jet fuel, so it's compartmentalized. We have the patents, so even the companies don't know. They're directed by Homeland Security just to do it. That's why even NASA admits the Earth is now 30% darker. You can type in satellite images of chemtrails from space. That's the layman's term, but this is going on. There's also low-altitude spraying going on. They admit CIA testing in almost every city of the U.S., in some cases spraying chemicals, biologicals, radiologicals on towns, then having the military doctors in the hospitals to, quote, test the response. So secret human testing is massive. Most of the public only knows about black people and Tuskegee because they wanted the public to know and think, oh, it's just the black people. No, folks. No, they've been injecting large parts of the population with syphilis in the vaccines. You think it's a vaccine, it's really syphilis. My grandmother got polio from the polio vaccine 1 week later. This is a massive eugenics operation, as Prince Philip talked about. Please continue.
So, of course, me being a researcher, I wanted to dive into this even more. And at the same time, by the way, we're getting emails from people that are sick all over the nation. This has been going on, like I said, about 3 weeks ago it started. And I don't even think we're in the real big, you know, pandemic part of it yet.
Let's be clear. People get tested and don't even have the flu virus. They just say, people I know in Austin, because I'm taking people to the doctor, and they've said this, well, we just call it the flu. We don't know what it is.
This is definitely not the flu. I mean, they're going in and they're getting flu shots, obviously. They're being told it's influenza, but the research that I pulled up, it's not. And we can link all these things with the pneumonia and the respiratory and the heart conditions that are going on across the U.S. Like I said, they sprayed not only did they square in the U.S., but they also sprayed right across the middle of the U.S. That's why you're seeing all these deaths and everything happen along the East Coast, the West Coast, along the South, and everything else.
And Merle Haggard just died.
And Merle Haggard just died. So
from a respiratory deal.
So I pulled up some sample. There's an agency in Victoria, British Columbia, because whatever they're doing up there is really taking a bad. People are having really bad reactions, and this samples were given to this lab that are licensed by the Environmental Protection Agency, and they found ethylene dibromide, which is a pesticide, a banned pesticide, which causes severe respiratory reactions at low levels. They found Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which not only causes respiratory infection, but also attacks the immune system. I told my wife, I said, it feels like there's 3 organisms that are attacking me at once. That was before I knew this, and sure enough, they identified 3 organisms. The second one is Serratia marcescens, which is an antibiotic-resistant bacteria which causes pneumonia, endocarditis, and meningitis, and the last one was Streptomyces and molds, capable of inducing heart disease, upper respiratory.
That's right. They now admit there's all these weird mutated molds that are killing the bats, killing the turtles, cause people to have heart attacks. Brain tumors are growing in young people suddenly from mold. Mold's getting through the blood-brain barrier, and then mold's growing in the brain. I mean, what have they done with a GMO? Also, China heats up its big factories right now. Its jet stream dumps in all over the United States. So this is insane.
Top it off with the aluminum nanoparticles that they're spraying down on us and everything else.
Which is an admitted giant secret program. They admit they're doing it. Billions being spent spraying us with aluminum, and Monsanto's coming out with seeds that can grow in aluminum soil. And then you got the Zika virus, which they admit is linked to mutations and engineered, with the Rockefeller Foundation creating it, a souped-up version.
Right. I mean,
you cannot make this up.
You cannot make it up. It's happening. If you talk to farmers all over the world, the aluminum nanoparticles are causing a very acidic soil, messing up all the plants.
This is scary. And then you have congressional hearing reports where they call chemtrails an exotic weapon system. It's going on. rainforest